I can you repeat the first or second question again?
Yung, I think yung question, sir, na hindi na-touch pa, sir, yung formal training to equip
Formal.
for other healthcare providers to perform early mobilization.
Oh. There's no formal training so far. Wala pang ano yan. However, again, as I've emphasized in my lecture, uh, part of our part of the program in early mobilization is actually to try and uh, instruct the family members or the primary caregiver on how to perform all of these exercises or how to perform all of these maneuvers, because eventually these patients will have to go home, or at least uh, when they get released from the ICU and they go to a regular room wherein they will have their own primary caregiver or family member. It's very, very important for them to actually do all of these things, know all of these things. Kasi alam naman namin, we know that the program will not end while they are in the hospital. These things will have to continue even after they are discharged from the hospital. So that is one thing that we try to impart to the family. No? This at least the knowledge to try and assist the patient, okay, in immobilizing them, or just simply putting them in the correct position. Okay, so
Thank you, sir. I'll be winding down with the siguro last two questions. The next question is related to your statement now. There is still no consensus regarding yung how early is early, ano yung time frame ng early. There is a question from one of our participants in related to timing. Is there a checklist that can be utilized to assess if pwede nang mamobilize yung patient? And there was a follow-up question, which of the multidisciplinary team members should head the mobilization when the mobilization needs to be started?
okay, so for the first question, again, we don't have a checklist, but we do have a set of clinical guidelines. I think I showed it in the table that during my lecture. The primary organ systems that we should try to specifically watch out for is number one, the neurologic, cardiac, and respiratory. So there are parameters that we can try to follow in order to start or begin the mobilization program. However, as I emphasized during the lecture, these are only guidelines. Okay? So each and every patient would actually have to be assessed individually. So talagang individualize yung program. So even though they have successfully hurdled all the necessary requirements to start the program, if there are other problems like musculoskeletal, if there's a fracture, baka hindi rin po pwedeng immobilize siya as soon as possible. Or if there are other problems that the other doctors, specifically the admitting physician, for example, or the intensivist or the ICU doctor, they think that the patient will not benefit, then kahit na they can satisfy all the requirements for safely doing the rehab program, baka hindi pwedeng simulan. And then secondly, what was the second question? Sorry.
The follow-up was which of the multidisciplinary members should head the patient's mobilization?
Well, in our hospital, in our institution, the one who heads the mobilization program is the physiatrist, yung rehab medicine doctor. So we work together closely with the intensivists with regards to knowing when to actually start the program. May mga studies kasi as early as 48 to 72 hours after the admission in the ICU, they actually start the mobilization. But again, it really depends on the condition of the patient. But I'm assuming here in the Philippines, it would be the rehabilitation medicine doctor or the physiatrist who would be leading that.
Thank you, sir. May pahabol pa na ano. There's a question, I know this is a bit controversial, pero i-ano natin para at least ma-address din for most of the participants. One question is asking regarding your opinion regarding the proliferation of chiropractic treatments in the management of pain and muscular issues for a lot of patients, some even in the ICU. When does a patient go to a PT and when they do, or when can they be referred to a chiropractor?
Chiropractors are actually we actually, well, in other countries, we work with them. Wala namang problem sa ano. However, here in the Philippines, the problem is number one, we have no regulations in terms of the practice of chiropractor. So yung number one, sino ba yung totoo? Sino ba yung hindi? No? So pwede madaling magpa-skill ng ng certificate na ikaw ay chiropractor, pero who knows? I think that for me that's the number one hindi natin alam kung sino yung totoo at sino yung hindi. That's why it's very hard for us to refer our patients to the chiropractor. But in actuality, yung mga totoong chiropractors nagko-complement yung services that we provide and that they can provide. It's complementary. Kasi nakakatulong naman talaga. So
yung regulation lang talaga yung
regulation lang kasi hindi mo alam kung sino yung So it's so very hard to refer and tas pag may nangyari anong gagawin mo ngayon? No? So for me yun yung pinakamahalaga, I think yung number one na stumbling block. Kasi wala pa tayong school dito and no one regulates them. So it's very hard to So siyempre patient mo yan pag may nangyari
parang walang magiging sagot.
Parang na, di ba? Parang ano mo yan? Look out mo, ikaw nag-refer.
Opo.
Di ba? So ikaw nag-refer. So yun lang yung sa akin din yun lang yung just as people would try to look for good doctors. Hindi ko naman sinasabi na lahat ng doktor magagaling. Ang lang is merong tamang doktor para sa iyo. So yun din, but at least merong common ground na alam na regulated to, na dumaan sa ganito, alam mo. So yun lang yung ko doon. That's what I can say for the practice of chiropractor in the Philippines.
Thank you, sir. Last question. This question actually was also touched kanina with your answer, pero parang to sum up the whole webinar, this is how can you encourage the participants here to refer most of our patients in the ICU to refer to the rehabilitation medicine service early?
Mahirap talaga yan. Kasi may unlike in other countries, for example sa US, mga ganyan, yung services nila are subsidized by the government. Sagot ng government yan, Medicare, I think, mga ganyan. However, here in the Philippines, unfortunately, yung physical medicine and rehabilitation is not yet recognized by PhilHealth. Hindi pa kina-cover ng PhilHealth. Yun yung problem. But we are working on it. Our academy is working on it. So hopefully in the near future, number one, na yan. Kasi medyo costly. No, medyo costly yung rehabilitation. I think that's one very important barrier na even in the studies hindi nila binabanggit kasi hindi nila concern yung pera. Dito sa atin, concern natin yung pera, no? So sa IC, alam naman natin kung magkano ang siguro o yung have a rough idea kung magkano per day yung gagastos sa isang pasyente sa ano. So if you add that type of management pa, so dagdag pa yan eh. So I think yun yung pinaka stumbling block right now. But money, notwithstanding na walang problem with uh, with no problems with money, I think yung everyone who is an intensivist to is actually seriously considering na ma-refer yung patient. If money was no matter, I think, and they had the capabilities, I think they would actually refer. No? Hindi naman ganun kadami ang ICU doctors, nagsisimula pa lang yan eh. Nagsisimula pa lang yung mga intensivist talaga. But a lot of them are well versed in the total management of these patients. So it doesn't only have to involve medicines. So kasama na dyan yung rehabilitation, kasama na dyan yung psychiatrist. No? Not only for the patient but also for the family. So I think yun yung pinakamalaking stumbling block right now.
Thank you, sir. Ngayon ko na nalaman na hindi pa pala covered ng PhilHealth ang
Yes,
rehab.
kaya mabigat, kaya mabigat. So hindi sila nako-cover yung rehab hindi nako-cover.
So with this, thank you very much for a very learning field afternoon to evening regarding PICS and yung challenges. Actually, ang dami pa ng challenges. Thank you, Dr. Ronald Calma, for sharing very important information with us.